Hi, welcome to my final project for CS50x. I am today's date is 15th of February 1244. I live in Preston, UK, so that is Western UK. This is where I live. This is the city in the country. If I go into my EDX profile, it's Zifa Husseini 2008. That's my EDX profile 2023. Same with my GitHub where this project is uh, published. I'm Safer316. I've got three repositories and I commit. This is the geography quiz. That's where the final project has been published. If I go through it quickly, my review file just displays some of the features which I'll go through in my code in a second. How to install it, which is very simple. We'll just install the requirements.txt and then flash run. This is usually how to use it. So whatever application it opens, whatever port you're publishing on. So I'll just open that and then you'll be able to visit it. If I actually go into the Visual Studio, I've made this app.py. So we'll quickly go through it. So most of the boilerplate is the exact same as finance. So login and register. There's a bit of difference in login. Login is supposed to index is very simple. It actually most of this is this database, which is the very big part of this. It contains a user, and there's a default user that has to have the ID of what that's important. I'll get to in a second why. And question is just a database that contains a lot of questions. You guys, this is a great geography quiz. It contains a question, the correct answer, the wrong answers, two wrong answers if you want to do multiple choice, and the level, how difficult the question is, and the image reference. You go to app.py, the default route is login, which is very simple. And again, when you do it, you set user ID, which is what you do normally. That happens in finance as well. But these new variables are to do with the user. So this actually is a list that contains dictionaries and the rest of them are integers. And this is pretty important for a quiz that I set up. So this just makes sure that rather than using local variables, nothing gets confused. It's got multiple users using at the same time. Register is the same, so we're going to log out the same. Quiz is very important. ID 0 just so Python can access the variable and it uses the global ID because it needs to be used by some other function as well. So it then sets question, so it actually gets session of question, which is just zero by default, as you saw. So it presses on zero question so far. It'll just increment that, and that's until it's less than or equal to session num, which is set by the user. As you can see, if it's not been set, default set to 10. So 10 questions by default, that's supposed to be 9 actually. So there's 9 questions by 10 day question by default, but it's supposed to be minus 1 because of this equal to. So actually, I will commit that. I'm working on the original GitHub repository. I'll just push that change now. So this is supposed to be behind. I just realized. So this just checks that if session question is less than or equal to none, then it serves your question, and if that method is get. So if you get from it, like as if you ask it for a question, then it does this. Else is that if this is so if you finish the quiz and you've done all the questions, then this does. Otherwise, if you've done a question and you submit the answer, then it just uh, then this will execute. So this is just going to check if the answer is right and update the user dictionary as well, which was actually set to a list that's blank. You create a dictionary for check where I have the ID of the question that you did and whether it was correct or wrong by a y and then increment it and then it'll change the level variable. So the level will just decide how difficult question you get. So if you get the question right, then the level will increase. Otherwise, the level will not increase. As you can see, this equals one. It's just minus one. So level will go down by one. So the quiz will get a bit easier. Does it so you don't get really hard questions? As I saw that some questions actually do get really difficult here. So here we can either have an input, which is quiz HTML, so it has an input box for you to put the answer in, or it can be multiple choice, and that's defined by random. So it'll be random whether you get multiple choice or input box. And if you finish the quiz as if this variable evaluates to false, that means that all the questions have been done, so that it says total to 0, HTML thing. So rather than having doing this complicated syntax in Ginger, because Ginger you would need to do the database executions, etc., it actually just inserts HTML directly into Ginger, which you see is there's no user input involved here. So doing the same thing for error is that answers incorrect, and then it adds the levels because it has database to keep track of also what people are doing and how many questions they answer, how many are correct, how many is wrong. So it updates that in database, and then obviously if you finish it, all of these are set blank again, and then return the final template. Leaderboard is simple as well. It just gets the users and then orders them by correct, which is orders them a number of correct questions that they got. So then it just passes this into uh, render template leaderboard. The HTML and Ginger handles creating the table. All just displays all of the questions in the database without the answers again, so you can't just store the answers. And that follows the same issue as that. Add is another feature where if you can suggest questions and instead of just adding them nowhere, it add them into review. So it won't just add them straight into the database, it'll add them into review. So somebody can come and review them, which is why you have the admin. So if you say this admin required function is in the helpers.py, you'll make sure that the ID is the one which is reserved for the admin. And then he can approve a question and have that added to the actual question database, which is here insert into questions rather than review, and then delete that from review, or you can deny all of them. No is just that session num variable that is defaulted to 9 or 10 question by default. This is where you set it. So if you don't visit this URL for whatever reason, because there's nowhere on the website you can go directly to quiz, you go to no first and I'll redirect you to slash quiz. But if you do send a get request, it will return an error instead by default. So if you go into helpers.py, some of them pretty simple. Login required is the same function as finance. Admin required is the same-ish idea, but then make sure that it's not equal to 1. So it must be 1 for admin required. Otherwise, it returns no. Apology is the same, and generate image is you put a word in, and it then goes queries pixels, and it just checks that if that word is um, if that word is generates an image based on that word. So that is how that works. So you generate an image that can be called on a word, so that's where you get the image references from. So yeah, so that's that. The basic code behind it. So if we actually go and visit, okay, so I've got this deployed on this render service, and so if you go into here, log down, you've got an account. If I log in with the account, I don't have an account. I have to create one. So restarted the server. So it's default database account. Yes, so if I type it now, I go to leaderboard, let's just leave that right. And then in the leaderboard, if I go to quiz, these are all the questions. As you see, they get progressively harder. Level 1 is like what's the capital of Canada, what USA, so they're pretty easy questions. Go down to level 9, we have some different with how long is the Great Wall of China, world trade Gibraltar, so if you Ibrahim, with African country, to do the someone the population on this side, get some pretty difficult questions, but obviously you won't get to that if you don't get all the previous questions correct before that. And then again, simple, it just creates a form, it allows you to submit something to the review. So I myself or the admin can check it. Leaderboard is just that ordered by number of questions, there's only one user, for example, and then quiz, this as you can see goes to no first. So if I enter number question say 3, how many USD is it? That's 50. It doesn't have the answer straight away. So how many where are they going? I know it's Egypt, but let's say that's a Sudan, for example. You see the question got a bit easier. That was a more difficult question. And you see this is incorrect. If it's correct, it doesn't show you the answer. If it's incorrect, it shows you the correct answer. And it says the result 67%. This is that it is less than 50% with red, otherwise with green. And it rounds to the nearest percent. So yeah, so if I show you, if I let's say add a question, let's say hi, 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 everyone. then submits that, but obviously that's not been added into the database. And I not been added to it. If I go to approve, you can see that I've got 2 questions approved, which is high and high. And I've got 2 questions that obviously not been added here, but I have got the questions I can approve. I can approve one, for example, approve it, and if I get approved, I can deny it. Okay, the question now. Let's see the top between that and then added high. So that's how that looks. If I log out, and if I log back into my account, there's a chance that I get high. So obviously doesn't make sense, but you will see this to the quiz. Yeah, see question high, aloha high. Obviously this question has a correct answer, the wrong answer is high, high, high. Obviously, so this isn't sense, but that is how it would work. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Again, this is the readme file. It's on GitHub. I GitHub using it for 316. My profile is 2008. And again, my date today is 15th of the Olympic Crescent. Okay. So hopefully you like that project. Hopefully you'll try it out for yourself. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.